Now batting for the New York Yankees, the shortstop, number 2.
Welcome back. This is episode 174 of the NYYST podcast. I am your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And extra long, and because he's back, and Stat Guy Rye.
What up? Wow. Solid.
Extra long, baby.
I'm just going to warn everyone right off the bat that Christian and Ryan's Wi-Fi sucks. So there's that. It's going to be, might be a little choppy. Just get through it. Also want to start the show by congratulating the new papa in the room. I told you she'd be born before the next show.
Congrats, Christian.
Thank you. I hope that she would be.
And now you're neglecting her already by taking time to record the show.
Well, you're the one that told me about priorities last week, so
I did.
Here we are.
The show is above all children.
It's feeding time, so there's nothing I can do really anyway. So
Feeding time, latching on the boo.
we're all video chatting here while we're doing the pod, and I'm trying to figure out what middle-aged soccer mom from a TV sitcom Ryan looks like right now.
It's unreal.
Asshole.
Wait,
it's always a TV reference. Oh, the short hair, I'm 11 from Stranger Things. Long hair, I'm a soccer mom.
I actually
who called you 11?
You did.
When did you ever
a while ago.
I had really short hair. I think it was maybe a podcast we did when we were doing them by you, Christian. You 100% called me 11. I never forget an insult.
He absolutely did.
Although.
And then I had to look up 11 from Stranger Things, and I started dying laughing because it was dead on.
This is all starting to sound familiar. This is all starting to sound familiar.
So I didn't tell you guys this. First of all, if you're listening, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes. 5 stars, obviously. If anything less, then you can go fuck yourself. I forgot to tell you guys that my kids were upstairs the other day. And I have the boxing glove that Ryan hit me with, the punch in the pod. And I wasn't paying attention, and I look over, and Leah's playing with it, my daughter. She's going, Daddy, can I keep this? And I fucking lost it. I'm like, you don't touch it. It's not a toy.
Tell her I have another set if you want me to give them to them. I'll give it to him.
I think Christian's frozen. And then
my back.
You're back.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, what the hell happened there? Was that story important? Like, do I need to know it?
No, it was just I flipped out on Leah for touching the boxing glove, the punch on the pod glove. And then my 3-year-old son goes, Daddy, that's what Uncle Ryan hit you with? And I was like, yeah. He goes, it didn't hurt though, right? I said, no, it kind of fucking hurt.
So you can't even pretend to be a man for your son's sake. That's how sad it is.
I know.
You should have sold it to him, bro. I'd be like, nah, it didn't hurt. I just pretended it did for Uncle Ryan's ego.
Whenever
now your son's walking through life knowing what a
uncle stronger than his father.
Yeah.
What a pansy you are that you got knocked out by a fucking comic boxing glove.
And
like they use that kid.
You know,
kids parties.
I'm deathly afraid of spiders, and my son is now too. He thinks every bug is a spider. He told me there was 3 spiders outside on the porch the other day. They were all ants, and he just runs and goes, "Spiders will die you." And I instead of rationally being like, "No, they're not all," I was just like, "You're right. Stay away from them. They will fucking kill you."
That's great.
I can't wait for the murder hornets to hit New Jersey.
Oh yeah, that's the next phase of fear,
Jesus. Right? Yeah, they're out west now.
They're coming. I saw a video of on Twitter today of the murder hornets. Like they eat the bees whole, and then they were in the bee colony, and like 100 bees just fucked this murder hornet up.
Wild. You see how big they are? They're like birds.
Yeah, they're big.
And I'll tell you what, if one of those lands on me, I hope it stings me and just fucking ends me. because I will live in fear for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, we should be good. We should be good. Don't worry about the Hornets.
Do we even have it? Do we even have
that's
any?
What they said about coronavirus.
Yeah. Do we even have any baseball or Yankees to talk about?
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Have we heard any rumors on when the season might start?
We did hear a rumor that the season is supposed to start on July 1st, but that was said by a former Major League Baseball player turned podcaster.
He's probably more popular as a podcaster than he was as a baseball player.
This is also true, but I haven't seen it reported by any reputable baseball writers yet. So I'm going to reserve judgment on that one at the moment. Would I like him to be right that we're getting baseball on July 1st? Sure, I'd like him to be right. But again, I haven't heard anybody but this person say it so far. So I don't know how true it is.
You know, July 1st would give us a decent season, no?
I think you could probably get in, what do you say, 30, 60, 90.
You eliminate the All-Star break too. Remember that.
Probably close to, you could probably get close to 100 games. It all see, the issue in starting a season is finishing the season.
Yeah.
Because if there were talks that they wanted to be playing World Series games on Thanksgiving, which would be cool, but at the same time, if you're playing in New York, how the hell are you going to play a World Series game on Thanksgiving?
Let me ask you this.
Then it becomes, go ahead.
If they said to you, we'll start the season July 1st, and you have, or sometime in July, but you have two options. A, you get a really shortened season, maybe 70 games or so. But then you can have playoffs played in the regular stadiums. Whoever's in the playoffs, whoever's the home team will play in their stadium. Or would you rather have a longer season, 120, 130 games, but they're going to have to play the playoffs in the winter, closer to the winter time, and they have to play in a mutual spot in a dome stadium or somewhere west or south?
You use the word mutual all the time, but it's neutral. That's what you're going for.
Yeah, neutral, whatever. It's also mutual.
Nah, just neutral.
It's mutual. It's mutual to both of them. That it's not their home ballpark.
Good question, though.
Sure. What would I don't know? See, I love when the Yankees are in the playoffs. If I can go to we're so used to going to the wild card games, but just being home in your home ballpark, man, I would actually consider flying out at that point to see a playoff game if I had to, but it wouldn't be the same. I think I would take the shortened season.
So you're saying this with the belief that there would be fans in attendance?
Yeah, there would be fans.
If there would be fans, and I'd prefer it that they play their home ballparks in the playoffs. If there aren't going to be fans, then I really couldn't care less if it's a mutual or a neutral site that they play. The point of playing at home is to be in front of your home supporters. So if you're taking that away, then what's the point?
A mutually agreed upon neutral spot.
So
you're not gonna win this. You used the wrong word. Now you're trying to cover for yourself. So when I get off this call here, and I'm gonna make another one to your wife to teach you the difference between neutral and mutual, because
at that point you might as well call my 8-year-old daughter.
I mean, you were doing well with table and chair, and I think you shot for the moon too fast and you came crashing down.
Everyone can't see this, but I'm giving him the finger.
Yeah, well, you're just mad that a 4-day-old baby gave you the finger earlier. That's how much she hates you right now.
Can we talk about your daughter a little? I wanna talk about it. I think maybe you would like to, if you'd like to or not. I don't know. But how was it, man? Little crazy time for you.
I honestly, without going into too much detail over the actual birth and leading up to it, I don't wish that upon anybody, including my worst enemy. It was a long.
His wife and the baby are healthy, by the way. He's, just want to preface with that.
Yeah, everybody's doing well, and a lot of people, overwhelming, well wishes can't even put into words the outpouring of love and people have shown back to us since we announced the birth of Ava. So I do want to thank everybody for that. But yeah, man, it was a long 2 days. And you know, my wife's a fucking, she's a hero. Like,
you have
honestly,
a different respect for her now?
I have no respect for anybody, but I grew some respect for her. Honestly, to see what she went through to bring our daughter into this world. I mean, I don't really have words for it. Sometimes I try to find words, and you know, but this I don't. I mean, she went through a lot, and I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. I mean, she went through the physical pain along with the emotional pain, but just the emotional toll that it took on everybody. Just sitting there, you know, waiting for it to happen, and then we snuck her in right before midnight, which was great because the doctors told us that we couldn't go home until we passed 2 midnights, and we snuck her in at 11:50 on Saturday night.
So
which was
great
good,
getting out of the hospital.
That counted as 1 midnight, so that was really good.
Well, I'll say this without getting too sappy, and you know I hate being nice to you, but I'm a dad of 3. I married my wife who already had my stepdaughter Leah, so I was kind of thrown in to. My family was there already. I never really took the time to be like, I need to be a dad in this world. There's only one person I know that has always said that, and it's you. And I know this day was incredible for you. Congratulations. Soak it up. And hopefully you took advantage of when you were able to sleep over the last 40 years of your life, or however old you are. Because you're not going to be sleeping much anymore.
Always a backhanded dig in there.
I have to.
I'll say this, man, and and anybody that's listening to this right now that's going through or has recently gone through a birth of their child during this pandemic, it's definitely different. I will say that, but in a way, it sucked that, you know, people couldn't come visit, but in a way, I think it kind of saved their sanity on Sunday.
Yeah, it gets to be a lot.
Yeah, that would have been a lot. That would have been a lot for you after going through all that, then having your friends and family coming to see the baby. That's overwhelming almost.
Because at Sunday, it was just like, okay, it was just us now. We can just kind of relax. You know, when the baby wasn't crying or hungry, we could just like kind of close our eyes for a little bit and kind of just, you know, breathe. I really wanted to introduce her to the Yankees right away. So I found that there was a game from last year playing. So we let her watch a Gleyber Torres home run.
Nice.
And then,
that's sweet.
Yeah.
So Ken Rosenthal put out an article yesterday. The headline is, though one team has discussed the July 1st MLB return, no plan is close to firm. His sources are from the Cleveland Indians. They sent out a memo to their players saying July 1st is the mark in the sand date, to just be prepared for that to be the day that we start playing again.
Yeah, we've been hearing that for how long now? I mean, July 1st I feel like if there's been any date that's thrown out there the most, it's been, you know, a July 1st start. So, yeah, of course we know that's the game plan. That's where they'd like to target this. But, I mean, all the plans that we heard didn't seem viable, and I haven't heard any others since. So I seriously don't see it happening.
I think what they're doing right now is not baseball, but in general, in some of these states, they're giving us a little bit of a test run to see how we can handle ourselves. We're reopening parks and stuff like that. And I think if everybody wants sports to come back, they need to just like chill the fuck out and adhere to the guidelines that they're giving us. So like, you know, I was reading yesterday that Wildwood opened up the beaches. Don't go and have a goddamn party down there. You know, like, if you are like, the parks are open, you know, don't have a picnic, you know, it's like dumb little shit like that. But if they see that we can kind of handle ourselves, I think we can start progressing a little.
I talk about
the
park right here in where the town I live. They opened back up the parks. I like to drive through with my kids later on in the day. just kind of settles them down. It's nice to just get out of the house. It would be okay if people were just like walking with, their spouse or their kids that they live with. You go there, these kids are fucking playing like frisbee with one another. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like a bunch of fucking kids. Like everyone normally hates people. Now all of a sudden during this, we can't stay away from people. Well,
got taken away from you. So it's like anything else in life.
But if
it's like you got multiple children, right? It's like if your son's playing with something that your daughter hadn't seen in 3 months, and then all of a sudden it catches her eye, and she's like, "No, I want to play with it."
Out of sight, out of mind.
You never played with it. Now that you see it, you want to play with it. It's the same shit.
Happens every day. But
it's the same thing. If something got taken away and now it's back, and you're just going to go over the top with it.
If you're an objective person with stuff like this, and you listen to every angle, different doctors and whatever, there were 2 doctors that came out with a video that made a really good point. We got to be careful when we do open back up, because our immune systems being home like this are just getting killed. We're not exposed to any type of bacteria or whatever to build up our antibodies. They expect when things do open back up and people can start hanging out and whatever the hell people do together, there's going to be a lot more illness.
So, coronavirus didn't kill you. It'll be something else.
Yeah. Murder hornet.
I was going through old Instagram posts last night, and I actually tweeted about this because I thought it was funny. I found a picture of myself with a light bulb up my nose from the wedding I was at in 2018, and I was like, I don't know if I should delete this, because in like 15 years, like Ava might find this and she's gonna be like, "Dad, why the hell do you have a light bulb up your nose?" And then I'm also saying to myself, I was fucking hammered that night, and that's how fucking hammered I want to get when we can all be together again.
That's true. Leave it. It's better than having something else up your nose. I think a light bulb is innocent enough.
I'm honestly, like, I keep saying this, and I want to have a shutdown party where the cops are coming when this is over, because I want everybody to come meet.
Who's gonna come?
Everybody. Well, you're obviously not you.
Ryan will get invited. But he won't show. Your neighbors will come. Yeah. Your neighbors will come over for 10 minutes, eat a hot dog or something, and then leave. It's the same shit. Hey, let me ask you this before I forget, because my brain is fried. So one of the best gifts I've ever got was from you. And
are you doing drugs while you're at home?
No, I wish I was. One of the best gifts I've ever received was.
I heard that all the way over here.
I know, that was a neck crack.
That was the first one of the day.
One of the best gifts I've ever received was from you and your wife. When Jack was born, you entered him into the Yankee universe for the membership, right? So I want to return that gift to you. It's something I've always thought about when you had a kid.
Can keep it. I gave it to you. You don't have to return it.
No. I want to return that favor and give you that gift, Dick. But here's my...
You want to give me a gift, Dick?
You want to give him that gift, Dick?
Dick in a box. My problem is I don't think I want to purchase it just yet, because would you rather... Say the season starts up soon. Would you rather have that for this season, or would you not want to risk that? Would you rather a full season for when Ava is...
You can't make any plans for anything right now, right?
Right.
I mean, even if the season started, it guarantees that people will actually be allowed to attend these games.
Right. I don't think, honestly, if they do start July 1st, I don't see a problem with them starting July 1st in their stadiums, but no fans can go. I mean, I don't see why that's a problem.
Has anybody been up watching the Korean Baseball League?
Ryan wanted to actually bring that up.
It was actually pretty entertaining, dude. There's some good talent over there.
I know there's some former Major League Baseball players over there.
I only watched like the first inning.
Dan Straley, I saw was pitching the other day. He was with the. I want to say he might have been with the A's and
I would have guessed. I would have guessed the A's. Yeah, Eric Timms was on at the beginning. He was like video conferencing about it, and he's from the KBO, Korean Baseball Organization. Yeah. But dude, so the pitchers were throwing hard. I mean, 92, 93, but I mean, it was good to watch. But it just, like Chris said before because I brought it up to him, that it just really makes you miss Major League Baseball.
Tyler Austin is in the Japanese league, right? He's not in the
right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think.
But it was cool, and I didn't even think about, because there weren't fans in attendance. I was trying to pay attention to that, how that would be, that, you know, the aesthetic of the game, if you notice it really. But I mean, you can't really say it by watching a Korean baseball game, but you know, that's something that is weird.
I'll be back in a minute, by the way.
Aesthetic, because it's more than just the game itself that's changing. It's the visual of it. That's a part of it too. I mean, the sounds of the game, that's a part of the experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, because you've been absent the last couple of weeks due to no fault of your own. But Chris and I have talked about this. Like, the only new form of entertainment that I'm really getting is, you know, WWE is still putting on shows, but they're doing it from the Performance Center with nobody there, and it's terrible. It's
weird.
Like, it's weird because, like you said, the aesthetics, and you know,
you're off.
You try to watch an event like that. I know wrestling isn't a sporting event, but we'll just group them in all together. When you're watching a sporting event, you want to feed off the energy of the crowd. You know,
it's totally a part of it,
and you're not getting that. But you know, I don't know. See, honestly, like you know, you got to take what you can get right now, bro. It's like,
yes,
what are you gonna
exactly? Do you want to watch baseball or not? That's what it comes down to.
And yeah,
and then you know what they can do. What I was thinking that they can do is really amplify the other sounds of the game. Get mics on all the players. Get the bat, the pop of the bat, the pop of the glove, the crack of the bat, rather. Make those amplified and get the other sounds of the game just boosted to kind of replace the crowd noise.
I had heard in one of these earlier proposals, and it might have been the spring training one, where they said they were just going to break the leagues into cactus and grapefruit instead of actually doing American League NL this year. Or it could have been just the all Arizona one of those earlier ones that they were saying that to kind of enhance the experience with no fans, they were going to mic players throughout all this.
Yeah, I'd love that. I would love that. I think that they should use those empty seats. This is a totally out of the box theory, but I think they should create almost a virtual stadium experience for fans, right? And use those empty seats to set up cameras, and you can create a virtual experience where you can like buy a ticket for that section, and you can watch the game from the section.
That's not
where the cameras are set up.
That's not a bad idea. And it's actually probably pretty feasible, because all these, I don't think you could do it by seat, but if you go to any of these ballparks now to like buy a ticket, you have the virtual view. Like, there's all
like
cameras set up.
Right.
If you go on StubHub and you pick your seat, it'll show you what your view is, a simulation of what your view is like from that seat.
Yes.
Maybe
that's what I would do. And maybe even do like a VIP ticket where you have a view from the dugout, a view from the bullpen, something like that. And maybe even mic up the dugout where you could hear the players from the dugout or something for like a VIP ticket. Just something where you can sell and turn some sort of profit, because that's the major element here, is that baseball is going to lose a bunch of money from not just ticket sales, but vendors. I mean, they can't sell food. They can't sell hot dogs, beer, memorabilia, all of that. Think of all the money Yankee Stadium must make per game from not even a ticket, just from the sales of food and everything else.
I don't mind.
You guys can carry the conversation for a second. I want to look something up that is actually kind of important right now.
What does it in regards to? Maybe we can discuss the topic while you look up what you
This is a Yankee podcast, right?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of there's a broad
Boone did an interview yesterday. I'm just trying to get some information on it based on what he said
with Aaron Judge. I meant to retweet Brian Hoke yesterday, but I got caught up.
Have it? It's easier to find.
Yeah, Hoke had it, and it was one of the lines was about Aaron Judge, and it was like the Yankees are still nervous. He's not going to be ready. Like, you could hear it. Yeah. You can just and I was thinking, and this is what I was going to tweet. it was like pitchers and, everyone reports to spring training. The next day, Judge is hurt. And it was like, oh, it's just a precaution. We're going to sit him out a couple days and whatever. It's nothing serious.
This is the tweet. This is Aaron Boone was on MLB radio.
I'm
MLB
muting my mic for a second.
And he said, this is in reference to Aaron Judge. He said, he's due for another CT scan, I believe, in a couple more weeks. So this time down has allowed that rib, that bone to hopefully continue to heal. All signs are encouraging there, and hopefully this downtime allows that rib to heal properly and hopefully have him part all this as well. I think that might have been that's not really good English, but it might have been just a mix-up on it. But basically, Judge is going for a scan in a few weeks. Boone thinks that the downtime has helped him. Chris is taking. Look at this guy. What a jerk off. Look at him.
What? Yeah,
you guys can't see it. Look, and now he's gonna get up and I'm Chris. I'm important. I'm gonna take a phone call right now.
Did they give a timetable for when he was projected to come back when the injury first started? Not really.
I don't believe so because
I don't think so either. Man, so that's crazy. So if the season were to start on time, if it started already, he still probably wouldn't be playing then.
No, I think we were always looking at the what's the word I'm looking for? The possibility that he wasn't going to play this year. If that rib doesn't heal and he still needs to, he needs that surgery, he's not playing this year. And when Chris comes back, we can debate something for a couple minutes here. But, he's like, oh, I'm Chris. I'm on the phone. I'm important, but really I'm not. Like,
yeah.
I don't
did he, who knows, man, maybe his boss or something, but did Booney bring up any of the other players that are to come back from injury? Stanton, Paxton, are they any update on those guys?
I
think Paxton would have been due to come back. I would guess at the end of May, maybe he would have been lined up, or mid-May.
This is also from that same interview. Aaron Boone said James Paxton is progressing nicely. So okay.
Yeah.
He also goes back and says, he got another quote here. It says, Paxton easy for me to say. Paxton is expected to be fully recovered by mid-May. So we're a couple weeks away from that.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty much the timetable for Paxton. So it doesn't look like anything is wrong. I mean, not wrong, but sidetracking James Paxton. Let's see if we got any information on Stanton. I believe Stanton is good to go right now if the season was underway.
That would be nice. What I really hope, though, is that when the season does, if they do play, I really hope that they start from the beginning of the original schedule, because the Yankees' first full month was so easy on paper, of course, but they played the Orioles and Tigers. 14 games in the first month were against the Tigers and Orioles.
You know what we should do for next show? We should look at what the schedule was supposed to be, and each of us separately come up with what we think the Yankees record would have been at the time we were recording.
They would have jumped out to a really nice start to the year.
Not that.
And this is also, let me just interject here. This is also from that same interview regarding Stanton. He said Stanton should be good to go, which I guess that means that he should be healed. And Aaron Hicks is playing soft toss from both sides of the plate and throwing. So it looks like he's progressing as well. So
that's good to hear.
I'm not saying anything about this virus and people dying and whatever is any bit of, there's nothing good about it, but just isolating the whole delay in this season in this case is a blessing in disguise for the Yankees, because these injuries were serious. If Stanton, they're just hopeful he's ready to go. Like, how can you not tell me Stanton is 100% ready to go? Wasn't Stanton's injury supposed to be minor? Like, he might have even played opening day?
Oh, he was never on target for opening day.
Well, around it, I mean,
he would have been on the IL to start the season.
Yeah, but you know what? It's just like, it's crazy to me that they can't say that.
Shut everything. Okay, you understand where we're at right now. They're not around these guys.
Oh, come
Everything
on.
is shut down.
Come on, they're
not
talking.
sending.
They're
not
talking to
sending
him every
trainers
day.
Yeah, but they're also not sending trainers over there to check on him.
Oh, they're going for their tests. They're keeping up on it. Trust me.
I'm sure they are, but I'm also probably at the point where they're not able to be as involved in it as they probably would like to be at right now. So, and from based on what I read, he should be good to go means that, hey, I think he's good to go. I think if we were playing baseball today, Giancarlo Stanton would be in the lineup. So.
Let me ask you this. Say the season starts finally in sometime in July, hopefully July 1st, and Stanton's back, he's ready to go, he's in the lineup, and within a couple weeks he's hurt again, and he has a whole year again where he's just not on the field. What do you do at that point? Is there anything they can do? Is there any way to just...
Nothing you could do.
Are we going to have...
Anything you can do is trade him to the Dodgers. That's
Are we going to have another Jacoby
only
Ellsbury?
Here's what you do. You make a phone call. You know, maybe there's a guy with an Italian last name. You know, bang bang,
Bang, bang, bangity bang.
I'm just saying, because what else are you going to do? No one's going to take the contract, right? If he has another,
Wait, no, but what do you mean? What do you mean by that? An Italian last name? I don't get.
Like
You're gonna
put a hit out on him. Put a bounty on his fucking head.
Because what else are you going to do? You can't trade him like you say. Trade him to the Dodgers.
I know this contract's ridiculous, but we've seen in the past that the Dodgers are the team that will take on the ridiculous contract if you want to dump them on them. Look what they did with the Red Sox. Look at the money they took on that Red Sox.
But if he hasn't played in 2 years,
yeah. But Stanton's young enough where they can still be optimistic, and he's so good that
he's so popular too.
Right, he's gonna put fans in the seats. If a team like the Dodgers picked him up, even if again you can't sit there and be certain he's gonna stay healthy, that name, adding that name to your roster is gonna excite people. They're gonna still be optimistic that this guy can.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be productive.
You're telling me he's young enough. He's 30 years old right now.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
How old was Ellsbury when he went down a couple years ago and never came back?
I think, 31?
Ellsbury's probably he's probably about my age right now, about 36. So, do the math on that.
So, yeah, I mean, we're talking about 4-year difference there where Ellsbury gets hurt and doesn't come back,
Yeah, but how much has things changed in the last few years? We've talked about this several times about guys being on the wrong side of 30 now.
No, I know. I mean, the prime in baseball has gone significantly down.
The Dodgers don't need Giancarlo Stanton to put people in their ballpark.
The Yankees didn't need him either.
Of course not, but he would. He still would.
No, I'm saying that, I think Chris was making the argument that, it would excite their fan base. I don't think it would.
Oh, I do. I think the Dodgers, whenever you give a Dodger fan a sexy name, they're excited about it. I just think that's how it goes out in LA. I think that's.
I don't know. Coming off two consecutive seasons where he hasn't played.
If you had to pick one team that if he doesn't end his career with the Yankees, who would it be?
Maybe
not end his career, but where you could see him playing in the next 3 years.
Is that
Pittsburgh Pirates?
It's the Recruiting Monkeys, right? That's their team name.
Garrett Cole's contract. He's making more, I think, than the Pirates have ever paid anyone in their entire organization combined. Garrett Cole's current contract.
Can I ask a question? I know this was brought up when this whole quarantine thing started, but I never really dove into it and got a definite answer. Guys are getting paid, right? So if, let's just say the season never gets underway, Gardy's done? Like, that's it? His final year is just him sitting home?
This year counts.
But it doesn't count. But it doesn't count as service time for.
No, it absolutely does. They went and they bargained that when this whole thing happened. So
that's what it was. Okay.
We could have conceivably seen the last of Masahiro Tanaka, James Paxton, DJ LeMahieu, Brett Gardner, even a guy like Zach Britton. We could have seen all their last games as Yankees.
So the Players Association fought for that because they want these guys to still get contracts again.
You're talking about the Dodgers. They traded for Mookie Betts, and he might never play a game for them.
Yeah, how funny is that?
Wow. That was only a 1-year deal?
Well,
he's a free agent. He was
right.
traded, so he's a free agent after this year.
Right, because Red Sox fans were saying, "Oh, we're going to get him back."
I'm trying to. All right, so here's what I'm seeing here from a New York Post article. For the union, the players' union, the biggest goal was to get service time for players, even under the worst scenario, 0 games played this season. Under the tentative agreement, players will receive the same service time in 2020 that they did in 2019 if no games are contested, no games are played.
Yeah, and it makes sense because of guys like, guys who are coming up on a contract. You don't want to be a year older. I mean, look at James Paxton, right? If they don't play any games this year and they say, okay, that year didn't count, you have to come back. Now you're pitching a year older, going through that same contract. By the next year, you're now 2 years older than what you should have been, or a year older. You're not going to get the same money.
No. So I just want to interject here. A delivery guy just dropped off some food at my house, so I'm not going to eat it because Chris and his wife sent it. So I just want to say, if this was like a normal relationship that we have here, I would say thank you. I really do appreciate it. But because the last time you told me that you almost died eating a fruit smoothie, I'm not touching it. I'm throwing it right in the garbage.
My wife gives me a fruit smoothie, and then after I drink half of it, she goes, "Oh, can I have that back?" And she looks at the package. It expired 2 years ago in September.
No, but thank you to you and your wife for sending that food over.
You're welcome.
I probably will not eat it though. I don't trust you.
It's got the Rona.
I'm not really afraid of coronavirus anymore, to be honest with you.
No, you shouldn't be. You're a healthy, middle-aged guy.
I'm not middle-aged, you dickhead. I'm just. I know people that are living in fear, and I get it from a standpoint if you have underlying health conditions. But at this point, I've been out more than other people have been due to the nature of what I do. So I'm kind of just over it at this point and just ready to, and especially now that my daughter's here and I want to take her to the park and be able to sit there and watch baseball games with her. Like I'm just over it now. So
the fuck are you going to do with her at the park? Throw her down a slide? She's 4 days old.
Yeah, and your point being, she's not going to be 4 days old forever.
Just throw her right into the fire. Just have her slide right down.
I don't really care. She went through, I hope that, how do I want to say? I hope that what my daughter went through in the opening moments of her life is a sign of the tough, strong person that she's going to be for the rest of her life, because we were yelling at her, Ava, come on, let's go, mommy and daddy want to meet you, and we thought it was her not wanting to come out, but she was fighting, that girl. So I'm hoping that's a sign of the strong-willed person that she's going to be.
As long as I'm a big figure in her life, she will be strong and tough and get through anything.
You are, okay. You just told me that you basically admitted to your son what a bitch you are.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid
really
of spiders and inflatable boxing gloves. And you're telling me because you might see my daughter twice in a year that she's going to be strong because of that. Because you want to know why? Every time we see her, I'm going to say, if you bring home a slum bucket like that, I'm going to fucking throw you out of the house.
Oh, that's fucked up.
I don't know. Before we wrap up here, because my wife's texting me that she's going to eat all the food on her own, and trust me, she right now, I think with the delirium everybody's been going through.
Oh my God, dude. I've been eating so much.
If you sat my wife in front of a plate of pasta right now, I don't think it would survive, and neither would it for me, because we were living off of bags of potato chips in the hospital.
Yeah, that's the war. I got try and get food at the hospital. It is the worst food I've ever had in my life.
No, it's not good. But then they're like, oh, Dad, because I couldn't leave the hospital. Like once I was there because of the coronavirus situation. They're like, yeah, you can go, but you're not allowed back in the hospital.
Yeah.
So they're like, they're like, oh, we have a cafeteria downstairs. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go downstairs and get food. And I'm like, what am I eating here?
And
even the Jell-O
Christian,
sucks.
you were allowed You were allowed in the delivery room?
Yes, I was allowed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because I read that they were maybe like keeping it as few people as possible in there, and that they were having like the husbands wait somewhere else. That would have sucked.
Good old Murph was he passed a executive order that allowed a woman to have one support person in the delivery room with her, because some of the hospitals were saying that they were just admitting the women, but he was like, that's bullshit. And I'm not even a big Murphy supporter, but I do appreciate that he did that. And just because I was going through it at the time, that he was like, no, you can't have a woman give birth alone, which honestly, like, not that I'm some superhero myself, but I couldn't imagine my wife having to go through that.
That was one thing I truly supported that he did, because that I was actually pissed off for you. That couldn't happen. That would be crazy if you couldn't be there. So everything worked out well in the end. I know people are probably getting bored, like, oh, we don't care about this shit. Talk about baseball. But so let's kind of just debate something real quick here. My cousin was texting me earlier because he was listening to the train wreck known as Moose and Maggie, and I didn't hear them today. I've been in the house all day. So I didn't hear them. I'll take his word for it. But Maggie was kind of insinuating if you could get Aaron Judge to play this year, even with the broken rib, and it meant sacrificing him for the rest of his career going for a title this year, would you do it?
Absolutely not.
Going for a title?
If you could get Aaron Judge to play, if you can get Aaron Judge to play this year, let's say at 80%, but it would basically sacrifice the rest of his career.
No way.
To chase a title this year, would you have him play?
Listen, I don't mind that you brought that up. I think it's interesting for us to talk about. The fact that there's a show on the radio that's talking about this
really isn't that kind of like classless to like it's because, like, hey, let's get it. What are you talking about?
On the radio, they their sports radio in this area, they can talk about a bunch of different things. We're Yankee oriented, so we need something like that to talk about. So it's fine for us. I think that's the most ridiculous thing in the entire world. The Yankees don't. Do they need Aaron Judge in a sense of he's a huge presence, he's the face of the team? Yes. Can they still win a title without Aaron Judge? Absolutely.
Here's my whole point about that, though. I think we might have already sacrificed Aaron Judge's career to chase a title last year because he didn't say anything. If he would have spoke up and maybe not played in the postseason last year, maybe we're looking at a scenario where he'd be maybe able to play right now if we were playing baseball.
So, because what was the date on that when he sustained that injury? It was in September, right? September 21st or something?
Wasn't it their final home?
Yeah.
Might have been like their final homestand of the year. I know it was late in the season. So I think it's an incredibly ridiculous. If she did say that, and I have no reason to believe, and I'm saying this. Are we still there?
Yeah, I took a snapshot of you.
And I have no reason to believe my cousin would lie about this. But again, if this was really said, would you sacrifice Aaron Judge's career for a run at the title this year? It's an incredibly stupid thing to say.
Yeah, it really is.
Stupid.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed
I get that you don't have stories to talk about, but really, come on, you're gonna create a scenario where the star of the Yankees gets hurt for the rest of his career. It's just like, what are you doing? You could find something better to talk about.
I'm embarrassed.
What if you decide to go there? If you decide to go that route and you don't win, and you just sacrifice this guy's entire career, and Aaron Judge hasn't made real money in Major League Baseball yet either.
No.
Yeah. Just a stupid
I wouldn't
point.
sacrifice his career, his livelihood, just for them to win a World Series.
No, I wouldn't either, honestly. Even if it meant
Ellsbury, different story, or someone like that.
No, I mean, yeah. But even if it meant they would win this year, but it meant Aaron Judge would be done playing baseball at 28 years old, I don't know if I would sign for that, to be honest with you. That's not.
I agree.
I would look, if you're talking, it's just such a stupid question.
Yeah.
You can't even justify it. But like I said, Aaron Judge isn't the make or break for me anymore at this point.
Okay, so that's where again, I didn't hear them. So I'm just going based on a conversation I had with my cousin earlier. He said that then it was like Maggie made the statement that the Yankees cannot win the World Series without these two guys. Can you guess what two players that she mentioned? Because they're my two players as well. So I do agree with her.
Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge.
Cole is one of them.
Yes.
Oh, Judge wasn't the other one?
He was not.
Oh, then it's Gary Sanchez.
No,
it's got to be DJ LeMahieu or Gleyber Torres.
It is not DJ LeMahieu.
Chapman?
Gleyber Torres?
No, it is, yeah. She said Cole and Torres are the two guys the Yankees can't win the World Series without. And I agree with that.
I can agree with that.
I can agree with that. So if we were going to throw that out there, what two players the Yankees can't afford to lose in a potential 2020 season, I would say that it's Cole and Gleyber Torres.
Right. And then this is where I was saying you can't justify this question in any way because you're taking now Garrett Cole, who's clearly one of the make or break guys, and he has a 10-year contract. He's still young. He's still one of the best pitchers in baseball. I'm not sacrificing him for this year because I still think they can win it down the road. And Gleyber Torres is still a young kid who could be a superstar. So there's no way to justify this question and have it make sense because the Yankees are young, they're talented, and they still have a lot ahead of them.
That window's closing faster.
It is. I'm not saying it's not, but it's still open. It's not like the Red Sox where they just got rid of everything and
their window is closed now.
It's closed, right? So if they never won a World Series and they were on that last year of that window being closed, then you could start justifying some players there. But for the Yankees, yeah, the window's closing, but it's still open. It's still there. So you can't ask that question right now. Maybe in a few years you can. Even in 2 years. You can pick apart a player and say, would you sacrifice this guy to win it this year?
We're over that now. We're talking about who the two guys that they need more than anybody.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm saying I was trying to justify how they could even ask that question. I agree.
Because
Cole
they're
and
bored
Torres.
and I told my cousin this. This is what happens when you're bored and stupid. This is the type of shit that you talk about.
Did they at least preface it with saying, also, if you take away the two best players from any team in baseball, they seriously hurt their chances of winning the World Series? You could do that with every single team. Take away your two best players, you're not gonna probably win the World Series.
Oh, and I agree with that statement, but I think she was trying to make the point.
The Nationals.
I think she was trying to make the point of the two players the Yankees can afford to lose the most, least. I mean,
yeah, right, yeah. See, I would actually replace Gleyber Torres with Gary Sanchez. Because then what you're going to go into the postseason with Kyle Higashioka as your everyday catcher, and who's going to be his backup? Chris Iannetta,
I know why you're saying this, because if Gleyber Torres couldn't play, that means Tyler Wade would be a starter.
Damn it, you got me.
Yeah, but
if Gleyber Torres
you know what?
Can't play.
Yeah, but you know what? To back up your point, right? If there's one guy outside of Encarnacion, obviously, last year, that if they had a productive postseason, the Yankees probably make it to the World Series, it's Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez in the middle of this lineup. And
just my thing is like if Gary goes down, his replacement wouldn't be the same as maybe no, but then you would have to put Tyler Wade. Because you're not going to put LeMahieu at shortstop.
This is the happiest Ryan's been since quarantine started.
I know, yeah, but I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want Tyler Wade in the starting lineup.
He's just picturing Tyler Wade playing in the World Series and hitting a walk-off.
Yeah, makes the final out.
So let's wrap up the show on this because Chris did kind of segue into this. I asked this on Twitter last week, and I thought it would be a fun thing for us to debate for a couple minutes before we wrap up the show here. Would you rather be the guy that got the walk-off hit to win a World Series, not a World Series game, but to win the World Series for your team? Or would you rather be the pitcher to be on the mound to record the final out via strikeout for your team to win the World Series?
Before we started recording, before you came on, Christian, I brought this up to Ryan because I said Christian will probably bring this up. He put this poll out, and we started talking about it, and then we got cut off. And I was trying to make a point to Ryan, and I won't say what his answer was or anything. I'm just going to say mine, and I'm going to justify why I chose it. I was a pitcher my whole life. And I hit a big home run in Little League, but that doesn't count. I never had a big moment in competitive baseball as a batter, ever. I have had big moments as a pitcher. And there's no better feeling than getting that strikeout to win the game or to get out of a huge jam. There's no way I'm choosing to be the batter here. I'm in the minority. I'm choosing pitcher just because I know what that feeling is.
But how? All right, think of off the top of your head. I could think of two right off the top of my head. How many World Series ended in a walk-off hit that you could just think of?
Okay,
you don't have to.
And here's that's the the road you were going down on this.
I got somebody tweeted this to me. I don't know how accurate it is, but somebody said that only 10 batters have ended the World Series with a hit in the history of Major League Baseball.
All right,
so
but here,
two would be Carter and Gonzalez. I know Carter and Gonzalez.
I'm not exactly sure how accurate that is, but it would lend itself to be on the lower side.
So
I would think
the path Ryan's going down this is to be memorable. But for me, I'm going first person here. I'm actually putting myself. I don't care what people remember.
Okay,
I'm living in the moment. I can't put myself in the shoes of a batter getting a big hit like that. I can put myself in the shoes of being a pitcher and ending a World Series.
When you were a little kid and you had your fantasy game out in the backyard,
that's different. It's different.
No, it's not different.
It's different because
how is it different?
When I was a little kid,
did you always dream of being on the mound like Stacy sets at the belt?
As I got older, absolutely, because that's what I knew.
That's what I asked you. That's not what I asked you.
When I was a kid, of course I want to hit the big home run because you're playing wiffle ball. Nobody
fantasizes about striking somebody out to end the game.
I would much rather strike someone out.
Hitting a home run to win the World Series. And that's what I would go with. And 84% of the people said they would rather be the batter than the pitcher.
You should have walk-off hit. You should have really had a scenario for the pitcher because the batter gets the big walk-off. The pitcher, it should have been bases loaded, up by a run.
Oh yeah, let's tilt it so it fits your narrative.
And
now.
you come in, and you have to get that one out. Hell yeah, I'm the pitcher. I want to be that guy.
Yeah, and I want to be the guy that hits one 450 feet off you.
Yeah, because it's all imagination for you. For me, I can actually put myself in the pitcher's shoes.
Okay.
I'm talking about being polarizing and being just a memorable person in the sport. When you think of like Chris Sale struck out Manny Machado to end that one World Series against the Dodgers a few years back, you don't really remember that.
You remember
but in your head,
happened,
right?
No one's gonna give a shit about it.
But I also remember in 1994 seeing those clips of Carter hitting a walk-off home run to win it. He still, talked about today. Luis Gonzalez, I unfortunately still remember that of him hitting a walk-off
garbage
against Mo.
He was just a garbage individual.
You're the guy that did it. You ended the World Series, and I get that you would do that as well with a strikeout, but I don't know, man. That would just be overwhelming for me if to hit a walk-off to end the World Series.
I think it's because it's everything you dream of as a little kid when you're playing baseball in your backyard to get the big hit to win the World Series. So unless you're a pitcher like this dickhead over here, look at him. He's not even paying attention.
I'm paying attention. You just called me. You said unless you were a pitcher like this dickhead.
I mean, I can't even remember 10 big strikeouts to end a game, but I could you see it in your head. You see Aaron Boone. I know it wasn't a World Series walk-off, but he walked off with a homer against the Red Sox in 2004 to get in. That's a memory.
I'll be honest with you, because 99 is just kind of sandwiched in with everything that happened with
the Yankees.
Is. I don't remember how that World Series ended.
Brocious? Pop up to Brocious?
In 96, it
96 was Charlie Hayes. 98
was I believe was it a ground ball to Scott Brocious, right? 99, I don't remember. 2000 was the Piazza fly ball to Bernie
Williams.
Yeah. And then 2009 was the grounder to Robbie Cano. So Mariano Rivera, unless, I don't know, maybe somebody wants to look that up real quick. He didn't even end the World Series with a strikeout.
No, 99 was...
Did Chad Curtis catch the final out in that game?
What was the year? What was the year when Mo did the twirl on the mound?
Yeah, who said Curtis just now? It was Keith Lockhart flied out to left fielder Curtis for the final out of the season.
Oh, that's a mic drop right there.
Oh, good shit.
All right, go eat with your wife.
Why do you know? How do you know she's texting me right now?
What?
How do you know she's texting me right now?
Because I have a wife with kids too.
I don't. Stay and talk with us. God, I'm the only host on this podcast now, co-host that doesn't have a child.
Single.
Are you Leslie Nope right now? Are you
Nope? Bro. Yeah. So what's it feel like, Christian? Does it feel like being a dad? You feel different? Does that change you?
He's much nicer.
It kind of hasn't set in yet.
You do seem a little nicer.
When we come back and we could all be together, you are shaving your head on the show for everyone to watch.
No, I'm not.
Ava asked you to do it, Ryan. So
yeah,
it's not happening. I'll clip the ponytail.
Pass your shoulders, bro.
I'll clip the ponytail to get it to be Yankee length. It's not over the shoulder.
Sounds good.
Look at that, dude. Look at that length. That's crazy.
We got a stress. We got a stress ball in your hand.
Yeah, he's had it all. He's had it all.
That's a little tennis ball.
I saw you guys' dad earlier.
Oh yeah. Well, you dropped something off at the house.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah. So, Mr. Stacy, if you're listening, since your son never wants to apologize to you, I will take the time to say thank you for stopping by today. So, I'll be nice for right now. But, when the new baby smell wears off and I'm back to normal, then all bets are off. So let's wrap this up here before I get beat to death because I got a hungry wife waiting downstairs with a newborn and a dog that's probably fucking driving her up the wall. So thank you for listening. Did I say 174? Are we on 74?
I was actually we're on episode 174.
You said 74.
Yeah, you did.
74.
You did.
All right. Who knows? Everything's blending together these days, but everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for listening to episode 174 of the NYYST podcast. We want to thank Stat Guy Rye for coming out of hiding like the guy that eats suntan lotion and bench warmers.
Yeah, really. I haven't seen the sun in like 3 months.
So everybody, thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk. Stat Guy Rye.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.